People, we are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. Before we do go into it, please go check us out on podcasting platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast yet to come, and also our daily updates on our articles on WeAreTottenhamTV.com as well. There's our merchandise on there as well, so go and check that out and see what you fancy. But let's go into the update, and we're going to talk about Richarlison up first, as Mike McGrath from Telegraph says that Tottenham forward Richarlison is set to be subject of summer bids from Saudi Pro League clubs, with interest in the Brazilian international renewed after previous attempts to land him as a marquee signing last summer or in January. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I for one, I think like if a good bid comes in, 50, 60 million around that ballpark figure, probably the best thing is to move him on.
I think how he's performed since December has really changed my outlook on Richarlison, and I think if he is happy at Spurs and we're kind of, Ange likes him and is happy to keep him, I wouldn't be desperate to sell him. I think obviously if a monstrous bid comes in, you'd have to seriously consider it. We paid 50 million plus the 10 million add-ons. If we could get our money back for him, I guess depends how Richarlison is feeling. If he's like super motivated to stay and he's really happy here, I'm happy to keep him on, even if it just meant just getting our money back. If we're getting a profit on him, then I think it's a different conversation. I think I'd be more open to selling him. But I think you see at the moment in the Premier League, strikers who score goals is hard to come by, and we have at the moment he is scoring goals and he is playing well and he's really developing that side of his game. You got to remember he's a starting striker for Brazil for a reason, so I wouldn't just sell him easily. But I do think I think in January I was at a different phase. I was like, okay, if we get our money back or even a loss, probably just get rid of him, because I don't know if he's going to turn it around. But he has turned it around now, performing at a good level. So I think Spurs would have to make a bit of money on him to consider selling him now.
For me, I like Richarlison. I've said it time and time again. I'm really happy with the way he's performing. I think he's fitted in well since January, and he's contributed to the team massively in a time of need as well, when Sonny was out in the Asia Cup, and we didn't have a goal scorer in the team, and we needed someone to really stand up for the team, and he did that. But having said that, if we can get our money back, I just think there are better strikers out there, probably younger, up-and-coming strikers that can probably suit the system just a little bit better than Richarlison. And you're looking at him, I'm looking at him, and I'm seeing a player that's doing well, but I'm not sure if he 100% fits the system, albeit I did say at the beginning of the season that I think he would fit the system, but I'm just not sure if he 100% does.
I think he does fit the system. I think he presses really well, which is a really big element to how Postecoglou likes to play. I think as a number 9, I don't see any reason why he doesn't fit the system. I think when you put him out wide, he doesn't. But I think as a 9, I don't see any reason why, as a profile-wise, he doesn't fit what Postecoglou wants from his number 9. I do think he's the right profile.
It's the link-up play for me. Like, he doesn't have that link-up play, nowhere near the link-up play that like a Heung-min Son has. And when Sonny does come out of the team, or when Sonny goes on the left, you can see the creativity up top isn't as good as when Sonny has in the number. I know no one's going to be as good as Sonny, and it's going to be hard to get someone of that level. But I just feel like Richarlison's link-up play is actually literally nowhere near.
Yeah, it's not as good as Sonny's. I do think it's improved. I think it used to be terrible, and it's actually not as bad as it used to be. It's probably, I would say, to average to above average at this point. Hopefully it continues to improve on that. But I think the link-up play is obviously important, but in terms of the profile striker, obviously link-up play is always important, just to doing the fundamentals of football. But I think as a profile, for a striker with Ange Postecoglou's system, I don't think like the link-up play that Richarlison offers is so bad that he doesn't then fit the profile of an Ange Postecoglou striker. I do think he does fit the profile. Look, and as I say, if we get a good offer for him, I'm open to selling him. I do think that there's probably better offers out there. But if it only meant getting our money back, I think I would resist that offer, to be honest, at this point.
Also, there's another case. Does Richarlison want to go to Saudi? I doubt that very much when you look at it. And look, as much as I've said what I've said, I'm still very much happy to keep Richarlison on for next season. I am very happy with him. I just feel like we could get someone better, potentially more of a bit of a target man as well, to change it up a little bit when we are up against the cosh in the last 10-15 minutes. And I know Richarlison is good in the air, but I feel like to get someone even better than that, maybe like a Santiago Jimenez, I look at that and look at it as a big upgrade of Richarlison.
Well, he looks good now, but there's no guarantees. In the Premier League, he'll be good, and we know Richarlison can play there. So look, I get that, and I like Jimenez a lot, but I'm just saying, unless we're getting a really good offer, I don't think I'd sell him at this point.
I think money back is a really good offer. 50 million for someone of what Richarlison has showed, I think is great money.
Okay.
But let's talk about this Rodrigo Bentancur interview. Bentancur talking on Ange Postecoglou first up, and he says, he was always very attentive during my time out, checking how I was feeling on the physical and personal level. He showed me his support, and once I was back, I could really see the way of playing he has implemented is incredible. I think as a team, we have shown that throughout the season. He is a calm person who gives us a lot of confidence and trusts us. I think you can see that during the games. He barely talks on the sidelines. It's so impressive how calm he is. He's a great manager, and I really enjoy working every day with him. And look, it's no surprise. You hear every single player just say the same things about Ange Postecoglou time and time again.
Yeah, and I think Bentancur is a calm person himself, so he probably appreciates a calm demeanour from Ange Postecoglou on the touchline. And we know Bentancur hasn't quite hit the heights yet since before his injury, but I feel like he's getting there. He is getting a bit better, and I think Ange has done a good job with him, not rushing him back. I mean, obviously he did rush him back, but he's easing him in now. Like, we've got midfielders back again, even though Bentancur on his day could be our best midfielder.
Absolutely. And I personally still believe he's our best midfielder, even though he's not showing it right now. I just feel like once he gets back to full fitness, you probably see it mostly next season, but he'll prove his worth to the team 100%. And then he's talking about the unity at Spurs, and he says, I would say we already had a good team spirit, but he has strengthened the idea of being a family and that we are all brothers. Ange has been really keen to instill that, and the group is now very united. We are a young team, around 24, 25 on average, and we all got along very well. He's created a great atmosphere. And you can see that, can't you? Week in, week out, on the pitch, off the pitch, and all the social media things that they put out, in the celebrations, even like when something bad happens on the pitch, like that bad challenge on a doggy, everyone backing each other up. So you can see it in all facets, can't you?
And I think from Bentancur's perspective, you saw it when he was come back from injury, how much it meant to everyone to see him coming back from that long-term injury, and how much they were all supporting him. And that moment when he came on against Crystal Palace back in October, that was a really big moment for him, and the players knew how important it was for him, and that's why they made a whole big thing of it. So I think the family feel was there for all to see, and I think Bentancur has probably felt it more than most.
And then he's talking about if he believes Spurs can challenge for major honours. And he says, definitely, more so now following the Ange's arrival. Of course, we have to go game by game. These are short-term targets we set ourselves, and to take 3 points every week. But we know we have the team to compete. We have shown that this year. Remember, we have had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of we haven't had a lot of luck in that sense. The boys have stepped up from the bench when starters have been injured and shown their quality, and we have been able to stay high in the table. But if we have a better season with injuries next year, I think things can go very well for us. And that's the exact kind of sense that I get from this team. I do believe that if we didn't have the crazy injuries that we did have this season, we'll be closer to the top than we are now. And I do believe next season, with a couple of quality players sprinkled in there, I genuinely believe that we can challenge for the title next year.
Yeah, I think obviously next season our squad, even with or without injuries, is going to be very stretched with the European game. So we're going to need more cover probably in positions where we haven't needed as much cover this season. For example, like fullback, Dogi and Porro have played most games. And maybe next season we're going to need more cover like those kind of positions. But I completely agree. I think we've had a really great first kind of step under Ange Postecoglou this season. I think all the players are really believing in what he is trying to do. And I think we've seen already this season when we've had our fully fit 11, we were a match for anyone. I think we've shown that, and it's just really unfortunate that injuries have come at the wrong time, and also the amount of injuries we've had at any one time has really hampered us. And even if you just purely take away that 5-game run when we had all the injuries, and then obviously we were adjusting to it, like we would be right up there in the league. That 5 games really hampered us, unfortunately, and it stopped us from probably challenging for anything substantial this season. But I think it's a really good building block up to next season. And next season, if we have more depth, and obviously the players will be together, more time together, and if we do get more luck with injuries than we did this season, then I think the building blocks are there to really give it anything a good go and really challenge. And I think all the players really believe that, because I don't think it's just belief. I think they've seen it for themselves. I think that's the most crucial thing.
Same, probably.
What?
Probably challenging.
I said, or did I say probably? Well, why not? Why not? Why can't we?
No, I'm saying this season you said it's probably ruled out us probably challenging us.
Yeah,
so
probably.
So there's a chance?
Opta says there's less than
so there's a chance. So there's a chance.
Ange believes so. I know that.
He's talking about his competition for places currently in the team, and he says it's a healthy competition. It helps us all improve as individuals. This year, going out the cup competitions means that we only had the Premier League, but the idea is to have the same level of competition when we are hopefully playing in Europe again next season, and we have more games. We will need everyone in the squad to be at 100%. And I think when you're looking at this competition for places, I don't think it's been as kind of healthy as he said, just because of the injuries. And obviously when Bentancur has come back, he hasn't been of that required level. So I think the team has pretty been easy to pick. But I do think next season, once we get that full squad, a few more signings in there, you're going to see that healthy competition that he's talking about.
Yeah, I completely agree. Obviously, centre-backs have been pretty sorted. Full-backs have been pretty sorted. The only real competition there's been in midfield, but as you say, Bentancur hasn't quite hit the heights, and Maddison's position's pretty sorted. Whenever Basuma's been fit, I think he's pretty much been picked upon. And then up front, there is competition. I guess Johnson and Werner have a good battle at the moment. Son's pretty much nailed on whenever he plays, but Richarlison is obviously in good form, so he's pushing for a start again. And then Kulusevski does pretty much most games he does play. So I agree, this season maybe we haven't seen that competition bear out as much as we would like. But I definitely look at the squad, and there are, at the moment, I'm looking at the bench, and there's Lo Celso, there's Bentancur, there's Werner there. We have some good players on our bench now. So as much as we haven't probably felt the competition for a lot of the season, I do think it is there.
Yeah, and you'll see it come to fruition a lot more next season, that's for sure. And then finally, he's talking about both playing as a number 6 and a number 8 this season. And he says, I'm feeling better and better physically. I think I'm at a point now where I can start to play in both positions. I think Ange and the coaching staff have seen that as well. So I'll just keep working. I'm always available to play wherever I'm asked. And I think that was never in doubt with someone like Rodrigo Bentancur. I do feel that he is better in the 8. I think that's clear for everyone to see, but I do think he does step in very well for the number 6 role.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in the 6 since Basuma's come back fit. Obviously, he was brilliant in the number 6 in his first game back against Villa, and then he got that bad injury. So when he gets back to full fitness, we can see that kind of level of performance in the 6. That would mean, maybe he could be more adept there. At the moment, we've seen him in the number 8 recently. I do think his performances have been improving. Obviously, we haven't seen him at his full potential in either position just yet. Yeah. And that's a bit frustrating because we know how good he can be. But I'm sure, I just know his qualities. I know what he's good at, and I know his profile. And I'm sure in either position, he can really be an outstanding pick in both positions.
Yeah, so that was a really interesting interview from Rodrigo Bentancur. I think it was on Sky Sports today, so go check that out. But that is actually all we have for a Tottenham update today. So let me know in the comment section below, would you sell Richarlison this summer if you could get your money back, or would you prefer to keep him? And let us know your thoughts on the Rodrigo Bentancur interview as well. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on.